That car right there is not a Lamborghini. It's actually a Ferrari. A Ferrari 250 GT. Now I know what you're thinking, it's a ballsy move to start your first official video with Lamborghini showing a Ferrari. But as the internet's favorite car storyteller, it's kind of incumbent upon me to tell you where it all began. And the story did kind of begin with this Ferrari. Yes, it's not a Lamborghini, but the man standing next to it is a Lamborghini, or rather is the Lamborghini. That is Ferruccio Lamborghini. Entrepreneur, car enthusiast, owner of Lamborghini Trattori, a very successful tractor company that allowed him to accumulate enough success to then enjoy some of Italy's finest cars. Though he wasn't enjoying this Ferrari that much. He had issues with it, he had feedback that he wanted to give, and as any good Italian businessman would, he took the bull by the horns and went and spoke to a man you may or may not have heard of, Enzo Ferrari. Gave him the feedback that this car could be better in X, Y way. And Enzo, being Enzo, was having none of it. He was sure of his car, and he said, listen, the problem is with the driver, not the car. Now, I don't think Enzo quite understood the fire that he lit under Ferruccio that day, nor the fact that he would end up creating his greatest rival in that moment, because it only took Ferruccio 2 years setting up his own place in Sant'Agata, hiring the best engineers he could find, including some that were ex-Ferrari, and then 2 years later creating the 350 GT, the first Lamborghini V12 Grand Tourer, an incredible car. And since then, really, this brand has never looked back and has turned from what was a tractor company owner's side project into really the factory of dreams of supercars for all of us. I think every kid and adult at some point in their lives has either had a poster of a Lamborghini or used it as a wallpaper, because like I said, it really is the dream factory. And I love that origin because it's really a great example of how drive and focus and a little vengeance in a man can create incredible things. Now, beyond your series regulars, like now the legendary Huracan and its replacement in the Temerario, Lamborghini also wrote the rule book on the few off or the one-off rare super and hypercars. This was a segment that didn't exist, and if we go back to 2007, perhaps even today, the most iconic one-off car, which was the Reventón, or the Reventón as it's pronounced, was introduced, and it looked like an F-22 Raptor on the road. Absolutely unbelievable stealth fighter of a machine, and it shocked the world. Like I said, it wrote the rule book on how one-offs and few-offs needed to be done, but Lamborghini, in their heart of hearts back then, didn't even know if this would be a success. It was like 4 times the cost of the base car Murcielago, and was it going to sell? Boy, did it sell, both that and the Roadster and every single V12 and that singular V10 in between, really setting the bar of how these few-off cars should be. And now, today, the latest one. This is the Fenomeno. And as the name says, it is flipping amazing. You thought I was going to say phenomenal, didn't you? I didn't fall into that trap, but it is beautiful. This car celebrates their 20th anniversary for their Centro Stile design department, headed by Mitja Borkert, since 2016. And it brings in what they're calling essentially their new design manifesto. So really key design elements that belong to this car, but also may belong to cars in the future. And it's a design that they call then Hyperdesign. And this is a design where the function and the form are intertwined. It's not just lines on a paper that look Lamborghini. It's there because it really needs to be there for the purposes of performance and to get your heart racing in other ways. Now, the name is an interesting one. It's Fenomeno, and it comes from a famous bull that fought in Morelia in Mexico in 2002. And the bravery and the infamy of this bull is what then gave this car, oh, easy boy. Calm down, let me finish this presentation. The bravery of this bull is what then gave this car its name. And dare I say, the design to me, it looks a bit more traditional than the Revuelto, don't you think? In terms of its just the general lines, particularly around the front. You've got those slimmer lights with this new bull-like graphic, and we'll go into that. You've got the typical Y shapes hiding here within the carbon. The rear interprets the Y-shape lights in a vertical format now, but still with the exposed tires we've seen on the recent cars. And then we've got a giant hexagonal exhaust as well. Then we have the side view, which is a long tail actually, and that was inspired by the Essenza SC V12. But I think the side view also reminds me a lot of the original Countach, and I think you really see that with that NACA-inspired side section. So overall, it's a really very Lamborghini, very brutal looking car, but immediately recognizable. Now, this is a limited car. Of course, it is a few of car, as they are so good at doing, and they will build 29 of them. One of them, which is this one, will sit at their museum for the rest of us to be able to drool at. But I don't want you guys to switch off just because this is a rare car that few of us will see. Because this is the design manifesto, because this, or you look at the history of the lineage behind this, and now when you look back, how clearly those special cars then influenced everything going forward, and it's so clear. This is a really important car in that regard. The elements that are being brought in here, in that hyper design, are really going to influence future Lamborghini products. So this is really important to us. Now, before I strip back the skin of the Fenomeno, and I will, let's talk about the car that it's based on. And like every V12 one-off in the past, it's based off the series production car, which in this case is the revolutionary Reventón. Come on, I had to say one. Give me one at least, right? So this is their first all-new platform they've done since the Aventador, and it's built on their carbon monofuselage tub in the middle, which of course in itself, mixed material, lightweight, rigid, a fantastic basis. And it still has a screaming 6.5 litre V12, making by itself 814 horsepower, but now assisted with 3 electric motors as well. Now those motors are no ordinary motors. The 2 on the front are sourced from Yasa, and they are axial flux motors. These are ultra thin versus the typical PSM motors that you and I will be used to from everything else you've seen and driven, other than say AMG's recent concept GT 4-door. And we also have an additional motor that then sits in the rear, which is linked to our gearbox. Those are fed by a 3.8 kilowatt battery that sits very cleverly in the central tunnel of the Reventón, and that makes up the rest of the power then of this incredible machine, up to 1001 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds. And it's not just about speed with this car. They have torque vectoring on all 4 wheels with the adaptive damping as well, and an all-new modern 3-screen interior, setting essentially an all-new direction for modern Lamborghinis to follow. Now, building perhaps impossibly upon that is the Fenomeno. How do you even begin to better a car like the Reventón with another car? But of course, this is Lamborghini. This is what they do. They take the hyper and they make it even more hyper. Now, the Fenomeno takes the basis of the Reventón, which is already cutting edge, and cranks it up even higher. First, our V12 produces a little bit more power now, about 10 horsepower more. But the real change comes within the hybrid assistance within here. Our battery capacity has increased by around about 46%, almost double, to now 7 kilowatts. And it still sits in the exact same size within that central tunnel, which is a great technical achievement considering how much time has not passed since that car came out. So we have that much power that's then able to feed into our 3 electric motors, which now make 50 horsepower more combined versus the base car. And yes, our battery now heavier, denser because of that. So we added about 50 kg of weight. But because this car is essentially all carbon fiber, including the seats inside, they've managed to negate that extra weight increment in this car. So that altogether gives us 1080 CV or 1065 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 2.4 seconds, and every other metric improved to an absolutely insane level. Then the suspension. Gone is the adaptive suspension that we saw in the base car, instead replaced with a manually adjustable one for your ride height, your stiffness, your camber, thus allowing the customer to make this car exactly what they want it to be when it comes to the track. And there will also be a unique track tyre and wheel size available for those customers who want to really drive this car hard. And I really hope they do, because part of the reason is the braking system here is really cutting edge. It's the new CCMR Plus carbon ceramic braking system that allows for incredible usage on track, multiple high-speed stops, like pretty much nothing else out there at the moment. And I suspect this is the type of system that they're developing in a car like this to then use in the future in perhaps something like an SVJ going forward. Now all of that not only makes this the most powerful Lamborghini ever, but also what is impressive to me, it's the best one in terms of power to weight ratio ever. And that's something that usually goes out the window with plug-in hybrids, even if they're super or hypercars. Now I think we need to get on to the design, because the design is so important, not just for this car as a one-off, but like I said, for perhaps cars going forward in the future as well. Now it's really interesting. We made some design comparisons already. I see a bit of even Temerario in this, a little bit with the slim lights on the front end. I see a bit of the Countach, the new one, on the side, particularly with that NACA style, that duct. But there's a lot of Easter eggs, and there always is, which is a nice thing within Lamborghini's one-off cars. So let's get a closer look around it. Let's have a look at some of those details and try to, it's such a beautiful car, you need to behold it from a closer angle. So let's do that now. Now I watched a few videos of this car and I saw loads of photos before coming here. I wanted to do my research and get things right as you do for you guys. And I cannot stress to you, you need to see this car in person. Whenever it goes to the museum, find out if it's there, go and see it, because you can't do justice to it on photos or film. I don't think I'll be able to today either, but I'm gonna try it, okay? That's especially true of the rear. You're gonna love the rear, right? Okay, let's start with the front end. This is their new design manifesto, as we said. So it's important for this car, it's important for the future. What's important on both is the new light graphic, which is this here. If you look at that, it actually looks like a bull's horn as well. It's all done on purpose, of course. It's really nice. I like the slimness of the lights. I like how it's actually inset within here. Then you see the carbon fiber and all of this aerodynamics. So the function that we were talking about paired with the design is awesome. Your bonnet here, we've got the S-duct within there. That increases the downforce. Then we push air that way. And look, even underneath the windshield, the carbon fiber there. Beautiful. Got the brand new Lamborghini badge that actually debuted on this car. So it's very similar to the classic one, but a bit flatter. So maintaining their heritage, but I think bringing it forward a little bit in terms of modernity, which is really nice. Then within our air intakes at the bottom, you see that typical Y shape. Again, such a Lamborghini thing that's been in every single conceivable car. Then you'll also notice the hexagonal shapes, and you'll see this again around every element of the car. Such a strong part of their heritage. But I want you to then ignore the details, pull back and just have a look at that front end. That is pretty, right? I know it's meant to be that much higher than Revuelto, and it's just a much prettier car in my eyes, to my personal tastes. It's beautiful. And I like how it does, to my mind, link quite a bit to Temerario in the front end. But it's a really, really gorgeous front, so that's a big win. Now, let's look at the side. And it's that long tail, as we said, which, again, stunning in person. Not something we've seen frequently in Lamborghinis, right? But it really works for the side profile. It matches the typical, you've got some very typical Lamborghini sketch lines here on each wheel arch that you'll see in this, you'll see in the new Countach. You've got the NACA duct element, that again, very similar. Even our filler cap here is in that hexagonal shape. You've got your lovely air blade on the side here. And with this entire car being fully carbon fiber, again, these details, when you see it in person, they are truly to behold. There's our name there, Fenomeno, sitting at the back of the air blade in carbon fiber. Wheels, interesting. They are turbine styled, perhaps a little bit influenced by Reventón, but then with the center locking style you'd see in stuff like the SVJs, etc. So again, gorgeous, sitting on the Bridgestone, and the custom track tires will be Bridgestone as well available. And I love this element. I love that typical Lamborghini line across the wheel arch. That is their heritage. It's really nice to see. A few nice little details like the red on the door handle here. It's a nice little touch, and obviously this is all going to be spec specific in terms of whether you like it or not, but that is lovely. And then one of the weight saving things they did, and I'll come into interior in a minute, but look at the carbon fiber door card. Epic. Now of course we've got the concave roofline here, which then feeds into our air scoop in the middle, and then reveals, of course, what is an engine bay, an open engine bay. It's like the sexy back case of an awesome watch, right? Lamborghini do it best. it's right there. You see that wonderful V12. The only difference between this one and the production version is the production version will only have this spine and not these two braces on either side, which is probably going to look even better than this does. But again, even the roof, it's a talking point. It looks gorgeous. But then the rear is where it's game over. I really, really hope you can see this on camera, because in person, that is incredible. In photos, all of this gets lost, and you look at the vertical ypsilon, as they call it, ypsilon Y-shape lights, and you're like, does that work? But in person, it's like standing next to the Batmobile. Then you're like, yeah, okay. I get why Christian Bale's Batman was dailying a Murcielago. It doesn't feel like it should be legal on the road. The details are beautiful. The lights, the carbon fiber, the way the layers play with each other, but maintaining the heritage of the design with those hexagonal shapes. So just around the Lamborghini logo, but then even the little details there, keeping the design language. The exhaust is massive. It's like the rear end of a Star Destroyer. Unbelievable. And you see actually the 4 pipes within there. But then all of this also matches with our wing. Now when the wing opens up, this is the omega shaped wing, as they call it. And you can kind of see that shape in there. But what's nice is when you look at it from the top down, you get this incredible layering of that shape again and again and again. I've not ever seen that. It's just such a wonderful detail. There's a little detail on the wing, okay? ALA, or ala, means wing in Italian, but this also translates to, what was it now? Let me try, hang on, I got this. Aerodynamica Lamborghini Automica, or something like that. I'm sorry, I got it slightly wrong. But that's a really cool little detail to me. I like the fact. It didn't need to be there, but it is there if you want to look for it. And then the final point that follows on with our series production cars doing the same thing is the Don't Follow Me exposed rear tyre, which again, it's now such a Lamborghini thing. It's also, I come back to the Batman thing, I'm a huge Batman fan, it's very Batmobile. And in person, again, when you see the carbon fiber, you see the body color, you see the tyre, oh, it's just chef's kiss. You take the badges of this car, you know it's a Lamborghini. Now the final bit, and something you may not have seen on other videos because the car wasn't ready yet, and that is the interior, which predictably, also pretty stunning. And welcome inside this spaceship inspired stealth fighter inspired interior, I think, which, if you know the Reventón, will be quite familiar to you, because you have that 3-screen concept which begins with our driver zone back there. We have the central screen and then the smaller passenger screen on the side over there as well. And that has essentially reduced the buttons, as most modern interiors have, Lamborghini following suit on that with most of the rest of the industry. But that doesn't mean you've lost on some of the beautiful detail, and I will show you that. First element I just want to point towards are the incredible carbon seats. These are newly constructed, singular carbon piece, really lightweight, but actually very, very comfortable. To get in for me, it was really comfortable, and to sit in, it feels a lot more comfortable than their past efforts of this type of seat. So that is going to be a win for customers going forward. Again, I do wonder whether these will find their way on a more special car from the normal series in the future, like an SVJ, etc. You still have wonderful buttons all over your steering wheel to control your drive elements and lift system. It's nice that these are not haptic buttons. You can see you've got EV mode on this side, as we found in Reventón, and just generally just a gorgeous carbon fiber steering wheel here. And then perhaps the best buttons that any Lamborghini has, in the middle here, with your start-stop button, like a fighter jet, your reverse, park, manual mode, all there, even your hazard lights. Brilliant in such a exciting way. So it's nice that they maintain that heritage within here while bringing in the modern. Not just things like the screens, but you've got your wireless charging area here, USB-Cs in the back. Our screens at the moment are playing a demo mode, which is on loop because obviously this is not a final production car, which looks really good. There's a lot of information on display. The way they've animated it is beautiful. You've still got the hexagonal shapes within there as well. But their attention to detail is what I love. You find these shapes all over the interior as well. You've got hexagonals here, you've got the Y shapes, there's an hexagonal right there in your door button with the speakers, even your window buttons. Name a more special pair of window buttons, I dare you. I will wait. You won't be able to. Everywhere that they could put a bit of their heritage, they have. Let's say we open the door here, you push the button here. See a little message here. We've got the Y shapes up there, you see within your speaker grills as well. The attention to detail here is literally insane. Another weight saving measure along with the seats that they had to do because of the battery. You can see we've got carbon fiber floor mats as well. Again, Y shapes, etc. Really drilling that home, keeping true to their philosophy. But yes, very stripped back here. And remember, this is just one style. We've got the whole ad personam range, 300 variants possible for your interior, whatever you want to do on the exterior. This is all about individuality now with Lamborghini and these type of few of cars. They've moved on in their philosophy, and now it's about making these to your own tastes. And really you can go to town on the individuality on these cars. So guys, Fenomeno is an absolutely gorgeous car. Outside, inside, they took an already cutting edge car, made it even more special. And that's kind of what Lamborghini do. Like I said, they wrote the rule book on the few of cars. This one brings it further forward again. And what's really fascinating to me and what should be fascinating to you is how this design manifesto is now gonna influence the other Lamborghinis we love, whether that's the smaller supercars, the larger V12 supercars, perhaps other road cars. This is the basis now, this is their face, this is their design idiom going forward. And I think, as always, if there's one manufacturer you can rely on to knock design out the park, it's Lamborghini, and they have. And hopefully you'll see them back on RBR soon. See you guys. Please give me a car to review on the road.